Welcome back to The Local Perspective. I'm Jerry Duchesne. Question for you. If the state left you off the map, they left your village off the map, what would you do? Well, if you're the village of Winneconne, you'd throw a party and declare independence, but we'll talk about that today. Our guests today are the village administrator of Winneconne, Mitch Foster, and Mike Golat, the administrator of the city of Altoona. We're going to talk about festivals. We are going to have some fun.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you first of all for being with me today. So festivals, and we're going to get to that whole independence thing. It's been tried. It didn't go well. The last group of states that tried that, Mitch.
Exactly.
Just saying. But we want to talk about festivals. Wisconsin is the home of festivals. It seems like if you can fry it, if you can fish it, if you can fling it, we can throw a party over it. But first of all, let's introduce ourselves. Mike, you are the city administrator in Altoona. For the folks that are in southeast Wisconsin, where's Altoona? What is Altoona? What's Altoona's claim to fame?
Well, Altoona is a small municipality, about 7,000 people, lying just to the east of Eau Claire. People generally know where that is. We were formed in 1883 because Eau Claire needed a flat spot to put a railroad yard. And
good reason to have a city.
Platted as East Eau Claire. And the residents there quickly decided that they didn't want to become part of Eau Claire. And they ran down to Madison and applied to be a municipality and stand alone.
And when was that?
1883.
1883. So we've been having annexation battles.
That's right.
Way back when.
That's right.
And Mitch, Winneconne. So if I'm from Prairie du Chien and I say Winneconne.
It's said numerous different ways. But yeah, the claim to fame for Winneconne doesn't go nearly as far back as Altoona, but in 1967, when the state of Wisconsin crafted their transportation official map, there was a dot where Winneconne exists, which is on the Wolf River, great fishing, but there was no name. You could look us up in the index, and we were there. You could look us up where, FG or F9 on the map. Yep, Winneconne's there, but there was no name on the actual map. And so they went through this process, had secret meetings for a few months, and then in July of 1967, sent an official letter off to the governor saying, we secede from the state of Wisconsin.
Was there like a Winneconne Minutemen? Were there militia?
Oh, you
Tea Party.
Tea Party.
You would be surprised. They appointed a whole cabinet, a secretary of the Navy, a prime minister. Everybody was included in this. Luckily, thankfully for everybody involved, the governor caved in, said that we would be included. We'd have signs on 41, on 116, on all the major highways, and then we would be included in 1968. So it was all done in one day.
I'm just plain speechless. And Winneconne sits on the western part of Lake Butamore,
yep,
on the Wolf River.
Yep, western part of Lake Butamore, western part of Winnebago County on the Wolf River. One of the other big parts for us for claim to fame is everybody fishes off of our bridge. When it comes to the walleye run in the spring, all throughout the summer, we've got 40 fishermen with their poles, 3 at a time, over the bridge into the water. Okay. And so it's pretty interesting to drive through.
And what did you say the population is roughly?
We're about 2,400 people.
And that's been fairly stable over the
years?
years?
Yeah, especially, the last probably 15 to 20 years, it's been about the same. Yep.
Didn't really drop off when the state dropped you off the map?
No, that surprisingly stayed the same. Nobody, didn't change too much.
Says something about state maps, I guess. But festivals, let's dive into this. The April magazine, the April Municipality, is all about festivals. I have to say, every time I look at that picture, I'm thinking, wait a minute, Woodstock. Because if you look at the cars, those are all, look at the age of those cars.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, wait a minute, better look carefully at what's going on in this picture. But no, that's actually Trout Fest, I believe. But it seems like every city in Wisconsin is having a festival. So let's start off with, and we'll start with you, Mike. What do you all do for festivals? How long's it been going on? Working great, not working great? What's going on?
Well, our signature festival for many years, I sorry, I can't remember exactly how many years, but something like 30 or 40 years. It's called Cinder City Days, and it's a nod to our railway heritage in Altoona.
Cinder City. See, I come from up near Peshtigo, and if you'd say Cinder City to the folks in Peshtigo, they think we don't want to go back there. Peshtigo fire, thousands killed. No.
Different kinds of cinders. Different kinds
So
of cinders.
Altoona didn't get burned to the ground?
It did not, thankfully. But we do a lot of traditional things in that festival. We have a softball tournament. We have a big chicken feed. Over the past couple of years, we've added national country acts, which has been wildly successful. We have a carnival. We have a craft fair. And what's nice about that one is that it's run by our local service organization, Altoona Lions Club.
Okay.
They've been an excellent partner in the community in many regards, and that's their signature festival for the past several years.
Is it effective? Is it a fundraiser for the service clubs, or is it more they do it to serve the community, generate some fun in the community?
I think it's both. I think the impetus was probably to generate revenue for their programs, but in doing, they obviously wanted to do something that would be loved by everyone that attended it, and it certainly has become that and was that from the very beginning.
And I want to back up. You talked about country music, and it seems like Eau Claire, you've got Summerfest down in Milwaukee, and they've got all sorts of national bands, and tends to be more pop music, new music. Eau Claire is sort of the pole where country music is really taken hold in Wisconsin. Why? Why is that? What did you all do right?
Well, I think there's two things happening in the music scene in Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley. There's two very large country festivals that have been there for more than 20 years, Country Jam and Country Fest. So, and they bring in all the biggest national acts, whoever's hot that given year, they bring that. So that's been a multi-state regional draw to the Chippewa Valley for many years. One's in Golat, one's just outside of Eau Claire in a township. And then they also have a Rock Fest at the same grounds as Country Fest, where they have nationally known heavy rock acts, and that's been wildly successful for many years. But what's happened more recently is a surge in the indie music scene, and that's really what we're becoming more known for. We're kind of ground zero for the indie music scene in Wisconsin, and that really happened because Bon Iver was Justin Vernon is from, and the whole band is from the Eau Claire area, and they 10 years ago they recorded an album out in the woods. He wrote out in the woods, the north woods of Wisconsin, at his cabin, and it became a wild success. And Justin and Bon Iver are beloved by fans, not just regionally, not just nationally, but internationally. And then what he did was he's curated a musical festival, very unique music festival there, called the Eau Claire Festival, Eau Claire's Festival. And it's unique in many regards. And I think it's not very commercialized. It has a very unique lineup with music from all different kinds of genres. Like last year, you could have saw Bon Iver and Paul Simon and Chance the Rapper. So very eclectic mix, and it's curated by the lead singer of the National and Justin Vernon. So people that love those bands and have that connection come to the festival, not only for the music, but for the food. It's also an art festival, so they have really interesting installations in the woods, interactive installations for people to see. So it really is, has become something unique to our area and to Wisconsin.
Wow, wow. See, and I didn't, I could have, for our audience members, certainly not myself, but for people who are old, may not necessarily know that when you say indie, of course, I know you're talking about independent music. Well, what is that? What is that? Is that just?
It's generally.
I know the answer to this, of course, but for our
people
older
that
audience.
produce their own music and bring it to market.
Okay, cool stuff. And then Winneconne, we talked about it. You were a dot on a map and you rebelled, and that turned into a party.
Yeah.
Tell me, I mean, do we have like Civil War reenactors or take on the Wisconsin National Guard? What happens?
Well, actually, last year was the 50th anniversary, and so come to find out, there was a troupe, a musical troupe out of Door County that had found out the story and was doing a musical based on the story of Winneconne. So thankfully last year we had them come and do a reading of their story and of their musical, which was a lot of fun. But very similar to a lot of the festivals you see across the state and events, we have your typical fundraisers for some of our local nonprofits. We have a waterfront park in the community that hosts typically a smaller local band and then a more regionalized band in the evenings. And then starting 2 years ago, they started doing a downtown, they don't call it a pub crawl, it's more like visit Winneconne, come and take a look at it. Because we typically have anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 additional people come to the community for the parade.
You triple your population for the parade.
Yeah, it's quite impressive to see the number of people that line up in a 10 to 12 block distance. They go 6 back the entire length of the way because it's been going on for 51 years. But it's all run by a group of people. It's not the village, it's not our Chamber of Commerce. It's a group, the Sovereign State Committee, that runs it. They are all volunteers. They take the time out of their days, out of their year, to plan this big event that celebrates the community, celebrates our odd kind of fun history. And the tagline for the sovereign state of Winneconne is "We like it where," because that was the question: where is Winneconne? So that's kind of
it used to be a dot on the map.
Yeah, and this year is going to be an interesting one. It's the 51st anniversary, but we have major construction through the community. We have our main street all the way through town, 116 is being torn up, and the Winneconne Bridge is being completely redone with a new bridge. And so this year's theme is Winneconne at Work. They're going to have bright yellow shirts. They're making shirts for our staff that are going to have the approved symbols on them for our staff to wear out in the field. It's going to be an interesting year, and they're really playing off of this. And so I think they've learned how to adjust with the time to make it popular and for people to keep coming back and enjoying the community.
Now, for me, I sort of think in terms of Madison and Halloween on State Street. Could I come dressed as an orange traffic barrel? Would you let me in, or would they lock me up?
Absolutely, that would be a ton of fun. Especially at the music down at the park. A lot of people come in, they stay down there all day and just listen to music. And then we have the fire department does sales of soda, beer at night, and they all just kind of have fun with it too. And I think this year's going to be a little bit more creative in how people kind of celebrate the day.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, take a breath here. I'm talking with Mitch Foster and Mike Golat, administrators in Winneconne and Altoona, respectively, about festivals, about what's happening in Wisconsin, what makes it fun. And I guess the takeoff when we put the magazine together was a U.S. News and World Report poll. They always rank states, right? And we ranked 11th overall as one of the best states to live in. But what struck me is we ranked number 3 for quality of life. And my question to you gentlemen, to stay in our topic, is do the festivals play a role in that, or are they sort of, you talked about the Independence Fest, 51 years old, music festivals. Do those play a role, or is it more a matter of clean sidewalks and the charm of small town Wisconsin? Do festivals play a role in quality of life?
Well, I think they certainly do. I think it's not everything that defines quality of life. Obviously, there's physical infrastructure that plays an important role into that. There's public safety, there's parks, there's trails, but it's an important part of what constitutes good quality of life. And I think what people are realizing more and more, given today's economy, is if you make a quality place for the people to live that live there, it will attract talent and businesses that want to relocate to your community. And I think that's largely the end game. But it's great in as much as you benefit the locals first, and then it attracts other people to your community.
Mm-hmm. Mitch, how do you see it? Where does it fit?
I think I agree with Mike. I think communities that have these festivals and work with either a festival organizing group or if they put it on themselves, they see the benefit multiple folds. You have the businesses in the community that benefit from the added people. You have the festival organizers that see this great thing that they put on for the community. You have the existing residents that have something fun to do a weekend, a week out of the year that they can always look forward to as something they can keep coming back to. You've got the people that have moved away from the community that always remember back, hey, you know, Sovereign State Days is coming up, let's go back and visit all our friends. But then for us, like I said, we almost double or triple our population for the weekend. For us, that's, hey, come and look at the community. Look at what we have to offer. Mm-hmm. Look at the amazing people, the amazing businesses, the amazing amenities that this community has. Why can't you live here? Why can't you open up your business here? And I think it highlights the best of our communities. I mean, half of our stuff is on the waterfront. We do that, they do that on purpose. They do that so that people can say, hey, come and look at this place. Look at how much fun we had. So I think it does play kind of multiple roles in that. But again, it's how you use it to your advantage as a community. It's taking advantage of your resources, the amenities, what looks good in your community. Show it off. A festival does a great job of doing that.
Well, and didn't, take another swing on amenities in your community. Mike, didn't Altoona recently complete an outdoor, calling it a pavilion and park is a severe understatement. It's a venue down on the river. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is our Altoona's River Prairie development, and it started in about 2000 when city leaders had a vision for developing a property around an interchange that we owned, a new interchange where the new Highway 53 came through. Mm-hmm. And the vision was a mixed-use development with a very significant public space presence. And so with that, we have, it's right on the Eau Claire River, so we preserved a lot of the natural attributes of the site along the river, and then pulled the park right up through the middle of it. But central to the development of the park was principles set forth by the Project for Public Spaces, in as much as they've developed a rubric for what makes public space great. They've gone all over the world and looked at what makes public spaces great. So we started with that. We partnered with our consultant, Ayers, and West Central Wisconsin Regional Planning, and we asked our community what they would like to see in the park. And what it comes down to for me, having thought about this a lot over the years, is what can we do, how can we build infrastructure and program the park to appeal to what people are passionate about. And people are passionate about things like food, pets, family, sports,
beer. Don't forget
beer. Oh, I got it. It's on the list. Health, music, art. So from the very beginning, we set up a space to program all these activities. Now, we also built an event center along with that capable of hosting a sit-down of about 250 people.
Wow, an enclosed a building?
Yeah, a very beautiful building. And that kind of is the bedrock of the park for all the happenings that are going to happen there. And just in its first year, we have 38 weddings that are booked there, along with countless other community events. But we are planning our first, and the city's taking the lead on this, our first festival there. And it's called P10 Festival. And it's, again, after a placemaking principle brought forth by the Project for Public Spaces. And it's the power of 10. And 10 is an arbitrary number that they brought forth. And it just means it takes a lot of different things, activities, infrastructure, to attract people and to attract a wide demographic. So things that we're going to have on at the P10 Fest, and the tagline is everything you love about living in the Chippewa Valley. We're going to have comedy, literary readings, we're going to have music, we're going to have Coob, because Eau Claire is the Coob capital of the world.
But wait a minute, okay. All right, Indy, I could get my way through Indy. What's Coob?
Coob is a Scandinavian lawn game, and the World Championships are in Eau Claire.
Okay, Mitch, not just me. You never heard of Coob either?
No.
Well,
Is
come
it
to our
bocce?
community on.
Is it croquet? What is it?
You've got wands that you throw at. There's a king in the middle, and there's like castles lined up along the back line for each side, and you throw the wand at them and knock them down. It's
All right,
a great family game.
We're going to have to do a whole magazine.
Yeah.
Where's Gail? Where's Gail Sumi? We're doing a magazine on Coob.
Hey, the gentleman's name is Eric Anderson, and he would be happy to talk to you about Coob as long as you want. He's done a great job and been a great ambassador to the community to bring that to our community.
So you're breaking in a whole new festival, and if you read the municipality, what you'll see is we talked to Robin Powers from our office, talked to a lot of folks all over the state, and frankly, in some places they're struggling. It's hard. There's a lot of work in these things, but you're going to do a whole new one.
Yep, we recognize, and my council recognizes that quality of life is imperative to economic development. Years ago, it was if you had good roads, safe community, and had green space with infrastructure, you did traditional recruitment to bring a business there. And hey, we've got a site ready, here you go.
Yeah, we've got an industrial park, there's the streets, we're ready for you.
Now it's all about quality of place, quality of life, and attracting people and talent and businesses. The workforce is a lot more mobile. People can largely live more in the past where they want to. And many of the millennials coming out of school pick where they want to live first rather than what business they want to live for, work for. So the Chippewa Valley and the city of Eau Claire's been a leader in this, has really been on the forefront of this. Between the festivalization, between partnership between the university and the private industry in the community to build the Confluence Center, an art center. What we're doing in River Prairie, what Chippewa's done with their downtown and their parks, Menominee. Everyone seems to be working on this renaissance in arts and culture, music, that is driving interest internationally, really. We've had voted one of the best places to live by Outside Magazine. We've got just a lot of critical acclaim about what's going on in the arts and economic development scene in Eau Claire.
And again, Winneconne is similarly situated in that, you're on a beautiful body of water. How far afield do you draw people? Is it the Fox Valley? Is it just Wisconsin? What would you guess for?
No, I mean, we pull in people that have traveled through the community and have seen it, and then they hear about the festival from Chicago, all the way from Southern Illinois, that will keep coming back to the festival over and over again, especially as the word gets out. Like you said, it's a different type of festival, different type of organization, so it intrigues people. and
I'm
using
dying to know, do you invite the governor? I mean, it's sort of an Independence Day thing, so I can
This-
say,
this
sorry,
pa-
man, you're not
yeah,
coming.
This past year, we did invite the governor. We invited all of the
Governor of Wisconsin.
Yes, governor
not-
of Wisconsin.
not-
And actually, last year
Not the governor of Winneconne.
No, no. And last year we actually, because in 1967, when this all went down, the Chicago Tribune, I believe it was, published an article on it. They heard about it somehow and published an article on it. And the mayor of Valparaiso, Indiana, made a comment about it and said, "We're more than welcome to Winneconne to join Indiana." And so we sent a letter off to the
Talk about a
to the
balloon
mayor
on
over
a
there.
string
Oh
annexation.
yeah, absolutely. So we sent a letter off to the mayor of Valparaiso, Indiana, to invite them. But no, we get a lot of people that come into the community because it's a small community with a lot of different things going on for it, and then there's just really unique festival offering and celebrating this really unique history that you don't see very often, especially north of the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah, very interesting.
Just to add, I did a recruitment last year for a city planner, and it's a pretty difficult position to fill sometimes. But I got several out-of-state applications, which was very surprising, and I got one from Brooklyn, New York, and I called her. She was one of the finalists, and I said, I would like to do a Skype interview with you. And she said, we don't have the funds to bring you out right away. She said, oh, I'm flying there. She said, I attended the Eau Claire Festival, and I love your community. And there's been several people that have moved into the community because of the Eau Claire Festival, started their own businesses, small businesses, a bike shop, technology companies. So it really can have a significant impact on your economy, and we're seeing that in the Chippewa Valley, especially with the impact that with the international exposure that the Eau Claire Festival is and other things that we're doing there have provided. We're getting a lot of people interested in living in the community. It's called been referred to as Little Portland.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
So you're getting that reputation.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I think last year, well, I guess I'll
You got Coob. I mean,
we got Coob.
How
We
much
got Coob.
cooler can you be if
We
you
got
got Coob?
Yeah.
Well, and over your way, there's the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association. There's, what do they call it, Country Jam?
Country USA, Rock USA. You've got Mile of Music up by Appleton.
Up in Appleton.
I mean,
That's awesome.
Every community has their own thing. But the nice thing about it is that we each have them at different points in time so that people can come over there and enjoy 6 straight weeks of festivals of fun. Especially with EAA. You're bringing multiple millions of dollars worth of investment expenditures in the region for that. You've got people staying in Winneconne. We have people that rent out their homes for the entire week for EAA and go stay at a hotel because they can make that money. These festivals not only bring people to the community that spend it, but they stay there. I know Oshkosh is really doing a great job of marketing EAA. Appleton with Mile of Music, the same deal. Everybody's trying to catalyze and capitalize on these festivals so that they can see their residents benefit for it, but also see new residents come in to benefit everybody else.
And you're Winneconne, you're a little bit off the beaten path there. Is there still, and I know there's good interaction, good regional collaboration.
Very good.
In the Chippewa Valley. Do you see that so much in the Fox Valley?
You do. I think you see that with some joint marketing efforts and for people working together on some of these items. Obviously, we can always get better at doing regional efforts like that. But on I'll call it Western Winnebago, Winneconne and Omro. We each have our own festivals. We each have our own strengths and weaknesses, and so we play off of one another really well. And so I think that helps the 10 to 12,000 that live along that western side of Winnebago County really work together. And then we're still trying to work with everybody else in the Fox Valley to see ourselves succeed.
We're running out of time, Mike, so one real quick one. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, I got to get this in quick. 1887, not 1883, otherwise it'll be strung up.
Oh, you gotta get your dates right, man.
But, just to wrap this up, I think quality of life, both in the physical infrastructure and how you program your activities in a community, is the future of economic development. I think that every community can look at communities like ours and learn valuable lessons from it.
It's about the place. I'm Jerry Duchesne, that's Local Perspective. We're out of time.